Alright, welcome back to My Blue Jail, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This should be a short episode, but very impactful, especially if you plan on taking your Jeep off-roading like I did. Finally, we had a little break from coronavirus and I got to go on the trails, and the Jeep performed amazing. I took it off-roading, did some video recording, so you'll see that soon. But anyways, I want to just talk about a little bit of a post-mortem on some of the off-roading that I did, and especially trail rash. So what is trail rash? Well, let me show you what trail rash is right here, and you can see this. But basically this is what happens when the trail is a little bit tight and a little bit overgrown. Brushes and trees and brush and bushes rub up against you, and it will do a little bit of a number to your paint job. But don't worry, because as the famous saying says, it'll buff right out. And let me show you how to buff this right out. For this, you're just going to be needing some simple stuff, which is some compound, some polish, and a soft cloth. And this is all you're going to really need. And let's go ahead and take care of things. Now, first it's important to know what exactly trail rash is. What this is just an area where something brushed up against your vehicle and scraped along the clear coat. And as long as it's in the clear coat, you're in the clear, trust me. We can't really do anything about this with the polish, because this will just make it nice and shiny in that area. But what you can do is just use a little bit of Sharpie or a little bit of felt tip pen that's black, and that'll take care of that right up. That's not a problem. This is going to take a little bit more work, but honestly, it's not going to take a whole lot of expertise, just a little bit of sweat equity. And let's go ahead and show you how to take care of this really quickly. So what you're going to want to do is get yourself a good compound. Now, the difference between compound and polish: compound is going to be more abrasive. It's going to take a deeper cut into that clear coat. And basically what we want to do is smooth out these scratches in the clear coat. And that will expose some nice flat clear coat, so it'll look nice and glossy. So what you're going to do, get like a little fingerful of this compound here. And just rub it. I start by just rubbing it back and forth. Use a little bit of pressure. Rub it back and forth. And what this is actually a liquid sandpaper. And what we're going to be doing is basically buffing that scratch out. Now that I got it nice and in there, what I'm going to do is start with a little bit of rotation in there. And what this is going to do is just doing it back and forth is going to leave small micro scratches that are horizontal. So what we're going to want to do is start evening out those scratches by doing a circle motion like this. And up a little bit here. For a little bit of scratching like this, you're not going to want to get a big buffer machine, because that, it's going to be hard to get into this area. You're going to get a lot of fling, it's going to be messy, and it's just overkill. So your finger's good enough. It's going to be a little bit of an exercise, but right now I can use a little bit of an exercise. So alright, that should do it. Let's go ahead and wipe away that compound and see what we got. Alright, that is much better. Let me go ahead and take it a little bit closer. Now you can see right here that it's still not 100%, but you can see a little bit of the scratch right into there, but the scratch has been pretty much removed. So I'm going to work a little bit more here. This section of cloth that I've been using still has a little bit of the compound on it, so I can just get in there, apply a little bit more pressure, and focus on the area that had a scratch. Apply just a little bit more compound and get in there again. And let's go ahead and wipe off that compound and see where we are. Yeah, that is almost perfect. Let's go ahead and take you in for a closer look. And then you are going to be very hard pressed to find any evidence of that scrape. You can see right here where the scrape starts and it did continue on in through here, on all the way down to the taillight, and it's gone. Again, we're going to be starting with a new area. Those are the two areas that I use the compound on. I'm going to start a new area right here. So here's the polish, and I'm just going to polish the area. Now this turtle wax polish that I got also has a ceramic wax compound that will also go in there. It'll fill in little voids left and also seal it with a ceramic coating. So that's why I chose this one. It's a little bit more expensive than normal polish, but I already have used the turtle wax ceramic coating on the rest of my Jeep, so this will help reseal it, these areas. Because when you polish it, you're going to be basically taking away a little bit of, well, you're going to be taking away all of the ceramic coating and a little bit of the clear coat, so you're going to want to reseal it. So all right, let's go ahead and wipe this down. And voila, that is almost perfect. You can't honestly tell where that scratch was. And in fact, this area where the scratch was actually looks better than the rest of the area, because I need to rewash and reseal this, because now we have one clean spot and the rest of the Jeep is a little bit dirty. But now this right here, this is a little bit more than your typical scratch. This is an abrasion. This is where I rubbed up against the log, and you can see kind of the path it took. But if you feel it, it's not too deep. So I'm pretty sure that we can use the previous technique for scratch in order to do this. It's just going to be over a larger area. So let's go ahead and first try out the compound and then the polish, see if we can get this all out. And if not, what we're going to have to do is use some like 3000 grit sandpaper, then do the buffer compound and the polish. So let's go ahead and see if we can take care of this. Now what I'm going to do is check the cloth and make sure if there was blue on the cloth, then I know that that abrasion got through the clear coat and into the paint, and I'd have to stop right here. But right now I see no blue, so no indication that the clear coat has been compromised. So let's go ahead and continue on. Yeah, I can already see some pretty deep scratches here, and you can see that a lot of the very minor surface abrasions have already been cleared up, but there's some pretty significant scratches in here. Let's see if I can show you real quick, closer up. Yeah, you can see them right here, and especially into here. And if you rub your finger across it, you can actually hear it. Kind of like how if you ever mess with a record, you're feeling these grooves. And what I'm going to have to do is use some 3000 grit sandpaper, level this out, and then go through the compound and polish stage again. And here I have a piece of 1500 grit sandpaper and some 3000 grit sandpaper disc. And what I'm going to do is wet this guy, and we're going to do a little bit of wet sanding like we did on my console. That'll help keep an even glide. But this is one of the things that we're going to have to be very careful. We don't want to take too much, because the moment I start seeing blue in the water is the moment I've gone too far. So we're going to be very cautious about this. You want to, I've got a little bit of a bucket of water down here. Dip the sandpaper in, keep it wet. That'll help it glide along the surface. and it'll also keep the sandpaper from getting clogged. Now, on closer inspection, this right here might be a crack in the clear coat, which is not good because that crack is going to go through the clear, it's going to go through the color and the primer and expose the aluminum inside. So we're going to need to have this eventually resealed. Now you're going to see this area is now very matte. It's got a matte finish. That's because we just got done sanding it. And what we're going to do is take this 3000 grit pad. So what's happening here is the sand, the loose clear coat sand, or the fine particles are actually getting trapped inside the cracks here, or inside these scrapes. So that's why you're seeing these pop out a bit more. If that surface was perfectly smooth, you wouldn't get these fine particles trapped in there. So that right there tells me that I need to work a little bit more up in here, because this I think is a crack. But I think I need to work a little bit more up in here and some down here. Now let's buff this out. Always make sure there's no blue or body color on your cloth. Alright, as you can see, everything's been pretty much taken care of except for those deeper, either cracks or deeper, yeah, that feels like a crack in the paint. But what we can do is do a little bit of sanding, shoot some more clear coat on there, and then also do some wet sanding after the clear coat's dry, and that'll seal up those cracks real well. Also, this wax and polish should help seal it because remember, it's adding like a Teflon protectant, the ceramic coating, on top of this, and it'll get into that crack. So let's see how that works. Now, one thing to remember is with the compound, you want to keep the compound limited to the area that's affected, because the compound is going to remove your clear coat, at least a small layer of it. With the polish and wax, you can go, and in fact you should go a little bit further than the area that you use the compound with, and that will help blend the two areas together. Alright, let's go ahead and wipe it down and then see what we got. It's not 100%, but man, that is a lot better. Let's go ahead and take a closer look and at it, and you can see that there's still some very, very small scratches that are either cracks or whatnot. But what we do is if we pull out just a little bit, you're not really going to know. So I took care of, within the span of just a couple of minutes, that really nasty scuff. A scratch that was around here that I can't even tell where it was, except for I remember this leading scratch. Can't even tell where that was. And same thing here. Just a little bit of work, and we just removed two really nasty scratches. and greatly minimized a really nasty scuff. And that's how you do it. So I don't want you guys to be scared of scratching your paint while on the trail, because you can fix paint. Plastics, not so much, but you can buy these things really cheap anyways. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. It's getting really hot here in the Pacific Northwest, even though most people won't consider 80 hot, but we do. And I need to wrap up this video, so thanks.